What's up, guys? I'm Kendall. I'm here with EJ, and we're here to talk about Avengers 4. Now, obviously, you guys just saw Avengers Infinity War, and we're coming off of that epic ending, and not only epic ending, but the very, very intriguing post-credit scene that featured, obviously, Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, and it teased a very important character in Avengers 4 and in the MCU, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
EJ. Now, my question to you is, how should, um, uh, the Avengers, or how should Marvel rather, and Kevin Feige tie in Captain Marvel to Avengers 4, whatever that will be called? It's an untitled movie right now. How should they tie her in, and how will they tie her into that movie?
It's going to be interesting because they've really established Thanos as this unbeatable force. And I know that through the press, they've made statements. I think Feige or even the Russos said that Carol Danvers is the most powerful hero in the universe.
Yes, they actually, when they came out with the synopsis for Captain Marvel, they had to like clean it up a little bit, and they said she's one of the strongest
Okay.
characters, just to not make it so absolute.
Right. So when you make this obvious allusion to Carol Danvers being the so-called Cavalry, for lack of a better term, shout out to May from Agents of Shield. But when you make her kind of the cavalry that's going to be a big force into saving the day, it's a little bit of a fine line to walk because how powerful is she going to be? How believable is it going to be that Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel could defeat Thanos? Because I don't think that she can do it on her own. What I'm thinking is going to happen is, I think that for whatever reason, because of her powers, she may somehow be able to either negate the Infinity Gauntlet or even wear the Infinity Gauntlet. I know there's been a lot of predictions as to whenever they're able to fix this, who's going to be the one to wear the gauntlet. Everyone's assuming Cap or Iron Man. I think it actually might end up being Carol Danvers, and I think because of the fact that she has powers and she is in many ways more powerful than a lot of the heroes. I think that's why she's going to end up being the deciding factor in it. Not because she's able to go toe to toe with Thanos. No one's able to go toe to toe with Thanos, but her powers, I think, are going to end up being canceling out some of the issues the Avengers faced when they went up against Thanos in this first movie.
See, now that's an interesting point because when I thought about the inclusion of Captain Marvel, I assumed that they would go the route of, well, first of all, when you look at that post credit scene, there were plenty
Yeah.
of questions that I had. Is why Nick Fury decided to call Captain Marvel? Why
That's a
she was
big question.
Why she was the first person he decided to call?
Yeah.
Why he assumed she'd still be around? There were plenty of questions. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he just guessed, like, oh, hopefully she's still around, and if she is, she can fix everything. But regardless, if we're gonna take what the Russo said at face value, that she is the strongest character in the MCU, does that mean she's stronger than Thor? Because by the end of Infinity War, Thor is almost going toe to toe with Thanos.
Well, it's less toe to toe, more like
he can damage him.
it's a quick strike
Right,
that Thanos clearly wasn't expecting.
right.
So yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
Like he can make him bleed a little bit.
Right.
And
A lot. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And if that's what Thor is capable of, is Captain Marvel more powerful than Thor? I'm assuming that means yes.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then she will be the strongest person that Thanos has come across, and will be the person that could put them over the top. I also feel like you don't have that post-credit scene. Obviously, they're also teasing her movie, but beyond that, I feel you don't have that post-credit scene unless she is going to be the driving force in them possibly, or the factor that puts them over the top.
Yeah, because look at it. To me, I mean, the Avengers right now are hopeless. To me, they have only two hopes when it comes to thwarting Thanos. Is number one, they haven't had their so-called starting lineup all playing together.
Yeah.
You had Iron Man up in space. You had and then you had Captain America. Thor wasn't around for most of the time. And Black Widow and such, but you didn't have the Holy Trinity, so to speak, together, all three of them going up against Thanos. So when you got Thor and Iron Man and Captain America, that's a different ballgame. That's their first thing that you have to look at with somewhat of a silver lining in this in terms of their rematch with Thanos. And the second is going to be Captain Marvel, is that this is a new person that they haven't had in the fold, someone more powerful than anyone they've dealt with so far. So those are going to be their keys. I think for me, in terms of a storytelling standpoint, it's I don't want them to nerf Captain Marvel just so that they can find a way to get over Thanos. I think they have to. I think they're gonna do a good job with it. I think they're gonna find a creative way to make it to where she's obviously more powerful than everyone possibly, but not still as powerful as Thanos. But maybe her intellect, maybe her powers, maybe something about her individually will make her the deciding factor.
The other thing I'm looking at is not only how will she tie into Avengers 4, but how will her movie, which comes out before Avengers 4, tie into Avengers 4 and tie into the end of Infinity War, because obviously it's a 90s movie. It's going to be set in the past. Will we get an explanation will we get a further explanation of that post-credit scene in Captain Marvel?
That's going to be interesting, and I think that's a good point, because to me, there's something about that last scene that it still sticks with me. That
it feels incomplete.
Right. Well, the idea that Nick Fury saw people disintegrating, and his first instinct was to call Captain Marvel.
I have this beeper in my bag. I'm gonna
this random beeper he has that was able to call this particular person. And it's not just, the world's falling apart. Like, there's been plenty of times where the world's falling apart.
It's not even like aliens, because you would think, like, maybe it's because it's an extraterrestrial thing, but we've seen that. And obviously she deals with aliens and she's in space, but we've seen that, and he hasn't contacted her.
It's almost like it's something he saw specifically that he's seen before, and he knew what his next call had to be. And then my question is, what does Carol Danvers possess, or what is she capable of that makes her the person that's going to be able to fix the problem?
Does she know about Thanos? Like, does she know about what his goal is? Like, maybe she's dealt with Thanos in the past.
I would think so, because Thanos talked about how he knew Tony Stark from a distance.
Right.
So if he knew Tony Stark from a distance, Tony Stark never did anything in space. I'm sure he's heard plenty of stories about Captain Marvel over the years. And then the question becomes, is Captain Marvel even an active hero? Is she, kind of just chilling right now, or has she been fighting throughout the galaxy for the last 20 years? There's a lot to be answered in this movie, and I think this movie is going to be important. And I hope that there's a way that they can tell that story in Captain Marvel leading into Avengers 4. I think they're going to end up doing what they did with Avengers 1. With Captain America: First Avenger, where at the end of the movie, at the credit scene, is him running out into New York City, and he's in the current, and he's with Nick Fury, and that kind of leads you right directly into Avengers 1. I think that you'll almost see the exact same thing with the end of Captain Marvel.
I also won't be surprised if we see a preview of Avengers 4 after Captain Marvel.
That I'm a little not sure about, because it's so close to the movie. It's only 2 months.
Like, I think we'll get a trailer before then, like maybe a teaser, but I think we'll get like real like story after.
You think we might get like a scene?
Maybe a scene, or maybe like a super cut of like things from the movie.
Right.
Like, I think because there's not much they can tease right now after what we just saw, because we don't. Like, they can't. They can tease like, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
But that's kind of grim. But after we see Captain Marvel, then it'll be like, now the pieces might start to come together. But they can't do anything until Captain Marvel, which is why I think they might show a preview after that movie.
But there's so much suspense leading into this movie. I think, for Marvel, with the way they ended the last movie, there's an interesting scenario where people are coming in literally not knowing how it's going to shake out, how things are going to be fixed. I feel like, even though I would love to see Captain Marvel and see this great Avengers footage, that's what they did, part of me feels like they would be better off showing it at least as much as possible before they end up showing the movie when it comes out in May. They could obviously not go that way, but I don't know if I want to see significant amount of the movie or significant shots of the movie in another movie. I think I'd rather just see the movie in and of itself. But it wouldn't surprise me if they went that route either.
Yeah. It definitely did feel like they were trying. The only thing I was disappointed with was that we didn't see Brie Larson.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought we would see her. They didn't lie when they said she wasn't in it.
Yeah, she filmed, the movie. I felt like it made perfect sense to you could throw in as a post-credit scene. You could throw in one scene that teased Brie Larson, but decided not to do it. But ultimately, I think Captain Marvel will be a very good movie, and I think there will be a lot of connection between those two movies.
Certainly gonna be a lot of excitement around that movie.
But I think that's our video for today, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, you should like and subscribe to the New Generation Media channel. We have plenty of videos like this on our channel and other videos related to Star Wars and sports. So click the subscribe button. And thanks for watching, guys. I'm Kendall, EJ. Peace.
Peace, guys.